sinking in. The first Indian production and documentary to win an Oscar. Tell me about that.
It's absolutely surreal. The entire journey has just been one crazy journey from 2017 to right up to now. So 6 years of craziness, I think. But just happy that it is what it is.
They want you to pose for the camera, Kartiki. Both you ladies, all three of you looking so lovely. Guneet, yeah, I mean, sometimes what happens is it's like a wave, isn't it? I mean, if somebody asks you to describe what you felt at that very moment, must have been euphoric, stunned, whatever. But then how do you view it now, a week later, when you look back?
I think this is the real celebration coming back home. So I just feel we are reeling into celebrating with everybody at home. So yes, that moment was absolutely surreal and epic and proud and humbling and such an honor. But I think the reeling in is happening now. So the joy I really feel is the joy that I see in everyone's eyes. These eyes and these faces and smiles make us feel proud. So thank you for an awesome welcome and for celebrating us all the way.
Had a 5-minute interaction with Bowman and Belly. Just wanted to, get to know them. And they're so beautiful and pure. Your first meeting with Bowman and Belly, tell us about how that went.
Well, to begin with, I actually grew up in the Nilgiri Mountains, and I was driving on my way back from Ooty to Bangalore to pack my things and come back home. And that's when I saw baby Raghu, and he was just 3 months old at the time, and he had his trunk wrapped around Bowman's arm, and they were walking off to the side of the road. I was hanging out of the car, which I shouldn't have been doing, but then I actually pulled the car over to the side, and I jumped out and I went and joined them. We went down to the river for a bath, and that's when Raghu ran in full speed into the river. I've never seen a baby elephant run so fast. He ran in and he pretty much looked like a baby helicopter. His trunk was being thrown around all directions, and that's when I really started to notice that you had this tiny little elephant calf that was so extremely vulnerable. And that made me question why this calf was with a human being, because you had these two species here and you had this beautiful, unique bond that they share. And I think that sort of led me forward to think about why this little young calf was with a human being. And that's when I realized that the Asian elephants were endangered and that there were only about 35,000 to 40,000 of them left. And here we had baby Raghu, who was actually directly involved with how climate change was playing out, because his mother had wandered into a nearby herd. She and her herd had wandered into a nearby village in search of food and water, and that's how she got electrocuted and died. So I think the entire process of how that happened just wanted me to help protect elephants and to document this beautiful sacred bond that they shared. And it's soon after that I actually come across Belly, because she was back and doing a lot of the housework at that point, so I didn't know she existed. It was something that had unraveled over time. And it really just started out with the beautiful connection that I shared with baby Raghu and Bowman at the time. And that's how this journey came into being. And I also wanted to just go ahead and also focus on indigenous people, because we had Bowman, and after just talking to him for so many hours, I realized that they had this beautiful connection with the space that they lived in. And that's something that I also wanted to bring out to the forefront. And that's how this entire journey began.
That's lovely. Just before they went off to the Oscars, I was lucky enough to do a Zoom session with Guneet as well as Kartiki. And I was stunned to know that there was 450 hours of footage shot by them, and that had to be encapsulated into a 40-minute film. Now that is a superhuman effort, and I think that itself deserves an Oscar, which is wonderful. But what I loved is this delicate footage of the forest and nature. It looked as though you were truly trying to capture the soul of the animals and the people who were living there. So in that aspect, the journey of the Elephant Whisperers, and you as director and cinematographer, the steps that you consciously took to make us feel we're part of Bowman, Ellie, Raghu, Ambu's world.
Having grown up in the same space, I experienced the beauty that the place had to offer right from a very young age. And that's something that I really wanted to showcase to the world. I wanted people to immerse into their life and to be able to experience all the different animals that were around. And in fact, we would actually head out, and I think Krish, who's here in the audience right there, he was on this journey from the very beginning, and we would head out and go out at 4 a.m. in the morning, and we'd head off into the forest. We'd try to record in the most beautiful light, and yeah, that's how it all evolved. We would spend lots of hours out in the wilderness and capturing the beauty of the place. I think it's really important to showcase the place in all its beauty, and we had that right where we were in this documentary.
Lovely. Monica, debut director, amazing. And I want to laud you and Team Netflix. Every time I give you a direct compliment, you always shrug it off and say it's the team. You don't like being self-laudatory, which is why we love you so much. But really, the fact that here's a girl, directorial debut, wins an Oscar, what does this mean for young creators? And what The Elephant Whisperers has done in terms of empowering young creators. And that's really what you set out to do at Netflix India, didn't you? It's also about the underrated stories. And instinctively, Guneet, I always feel that you go after the underrated stories. Is that a conscious choice?
You know, I honestly feel very spiritual about my work. Sikhya means keep learning, keep growing. Seekh se sikhya bana. And I genuinely feel stories choose us. Be it Lunchbox, be it Puglet, be it Period End of Sentence, be it Elephant Whisperers. I feel like stories choose us, and to show up with integrity and honesty every day is the job that we do. And everybody at Sikhya and the beautiful, and we are empowered by Netflix, and we have a deep relationship, and I think it's deeply intuitive and instinctive to fall in love with the story, and we work in long format. It takes years for a story to come to life, and to show up every day with all your honesty is all we can do. And awards, rewards may follow, may not follow. This is epic that happened in our journey as filmmakers, but really I think at Sikhya, as filmmakers, we are in service of the story and the filmmaker.
Lovely, lovely. That's a spiritual answer. Wonderful.
Really look at men. It's been image of, those long lenses, open jeeps. There's a very macho-ness to wildlife so many years, and here's this young woman, a natural history photographer with her purest vision. And I'm so grateful that she chose Sikhya to produce, and she reached out. So at any stage and at any audience that I get, I want to really say that that this has been one of the most beautiful journeys, and we got to learn a lot about wildlife with her on this journey, because it was also our first wildlife venture and a project.
Lovely.